Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to the Roots Garden, where the Plymouth Taproots will go against the Santa Ana Spectrums. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How you doing, dude?
Doing excellent. It has not been that long ago since we were last here watching the Plymouth Taproots close out the final series. I'm glad to be back and excited to see how the Santa Ana Spectrums match up tonight against the defending champions.
Yeah, the crowd is really raging here tonight. They have been really booming because these are the top one of the these are two of the top teams so far in their respective conferences, especially with the interesting look for Santa Ana as they have kind of rebuild their team once again, and it's really been working so far for them, especially with the additions of Kiara Hughes, J.C. Gold, and even a couple of rookies in Viking, uh, Lagerstrom, and Benjamin Aquino.
Yeah, SAS definitely has a advantage, I think, in the post. Obviously, Plymouth themselves having to revamp quite a bit, given that Trevor Cruz and River both were coming off their rookie deals after that championship run, made it so they couldn't afford to keep both of them on their roster. Obviously, we also had Tahiri Andrea Matsunora retiring, so we have a bit of a new look for the Taproots as well, with Belmare and Feckle coming in as starters. And while Yasina continues to prove to be a strong sixth for, you kind of have questions about the rest of their bench and how effective they are. They obviously brought in a few new players with the rookie draft and the veteran Smiths coming in from Dakota, but as a whole, though, SAS has performed much better coming off the bench compared to the Taproots. But the Taproots, that starting lineup is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And considering both of these team styles, it's kind of something similar to the immovable object going up against. I totally forgot the saying of this thing, but yeah, it just seems like very offensive heavy style when it comes to the Plymouth Taproots going up against Santa Ana, who's really going more so on the defensive side. If you look at both of their ratings, and it's going to be interesting to see which one is going to break the most in here. I'm going to be looking for a situation where really Santa Ana discussion on how they can contain Jake Turner, because obviously he's going to get his numbers, but it's just trying to see how much can you slow him down in the process.
Yeah, Jake Turner, always a very dangerous threat in the post, and we'll have to see how Tyrese handles him. SAS, that's kind of been one of their negative sides, is that they really don't play tall. I mean, Sebastian at power forward is only 6'8", and they have to really rely on the giant otter to defend the post as the tallest player on the team. So going against a 7'11" Fox definitely puts him at a bit of a disadvantage, and he has to contain him, and that might require double teaming potentially. And that's where you can kind of find yourself in foul trouble trying to contain a bigger player like that. You're more prone to get called for contact since you're having to jump earlier to try and impact the defensive, have an impact on defense against their shot.
Yeah, and that's for sure. And then speaking of, we're seeing the players come onto the court right now. So let's go ahead and get this game started, shall we? Having a good chance to see these two teams, see who's going to really take advantage here. And of course, we see Santa Ana winning the tip-off at the first glance. So we see Adigia bringing it up to the court. And right now it's going to be interesting with this somewhat of a new look, especially Kiara Hughes having a chance to really make some noise.
Well, she kind of had an unfortunate situation in Tennessee of having a really great year, but Arthur Selby completely taking over the starting role from her as a rookie.
Yep, and Sebastian going for that good three ball to open up this game here.
Jinsun Lee.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. But they have the answer of their own as Trevor Cruz goes for a quick three as well. So we're tied up 3 apiece.
Yeah, we might. That was Feckle, I think, actually.
I'm
86.
having a great start right now.
Yeah.
But the Santa Ana is able to convert there as Turner gets the rebound. Turner hands over to Kenny. And Kenny going to go for a three of his own. And so far, both teams are going to try to rely on the 3 points to see if they can try to get an advantage going on offensively. As Natalie tries to lay it up, and it's good there. And so Plymouth's able to take the lead. First lead of the game for them, 5-3, as we just passed the 11-minute mark in the first quarter.
Yeah, and that's going to bring up the major point, the height difference. Jay Turner was able to get that offensive rebound, and that led to the second chance points. And the player that was between him and the basket was Aditya. And you're talking about a size mismatch there. Jake Turner needs to constantly be boxed out by Tyrese.
Yep, and Jin Sung had to go for a very tough shot there. It's no good, but Sebastian finding a way to get the rebound, lays it up, but it's no good at this point. So, not a good chance for his opportunity, as Plymouth has the rock this time with Kenny surveying the field, going for a mid-ranger, and it's no good this time as Tyrese gets the rebound.
Yeah, it was a good use of the screen to slither by for an open look, and now Kenny's going to reach in and try and steal the ball, but going to get called for the contact.
Yeah, and that'll be the first foul of the game. It's going to be a reach in, so they'll have to go an inbound this time. Of course, it'll give an opportunity to give the ball to Kiara Hughes. A quick passing here for Santa Ana as Sebastian looking to try to get into the paint here, but instead dishes it out to Jin Sung, who passes it over to Tyrese. Tyrese having a tough matchup against Turner, and it's not good this time. So far, things have slowed down quite a little bit here after the first couple of threes in the early going in the first quarter. As Turner looking to get him past Tyrese, and he does so with ease as he spins around and goes for that quick lay-in.
Yeah, that was a good... they brought the double team over, and that actually probably made it an open look because the double team gave up to try and cover the open player, and that's where Jake was able to find an open lane to the basket through the spin move, and contact. I didn't get called on Feckle, and personally, this is where I think SAS needs to attack. Plymouth's starting lineup is very formidable, but their bench is not as scary, and if they can get even one starter in foul trouble, it exponentially improves their chances of winning this game here tonight.
Yeah, and I would have to say, even going for a good amount, trying to push into the paint a little bit to draw those fouls is going to be very important, as Santa Ana is able to cut this down to 7-5, as we head to 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Trevor Cruz trying to drive a little bit, but is stopped up and hands it over to Kenny. Kenny gets a quick screen from Turner and goes for a good mid-range. No good on the pick-and-pop play as Tyrese Vaughn gets the rebound.
And I'm going to keep my eye on Tyrese. They need to attack Turner in the post. He gets his own miss, and the putback is good off the glass.
Really good effort there by Tyrese, and that's something you're going to have to expect out of him, especially going to have to fight with Team Turner, because that's the matchup to look at. As Feckle hands it over to Cruz. Cruz going for that three, and it's able to rattle home.
God, I thought that was missing. It went about 2 feet in the air off the rim, but somehow had the spin to go in after bouncing twice.
Yeah, a little bit of a prayer for the basketball gods granted there for Plymouth as they're now up by 3.
Yeah, and Jin Sung, he's trying to be the offensive spark for Santa Ana tonight, and he had a good lane there, but just a little too much behind it.
Yeah, really trying to take advantage of the size of his, with Tanya Feckle, but it's not a good there as Kenny looking for a good screen. Has a little bit of space here. Deep into the three-point. Instead heads to Turner, who just double teamed very quickly. And so has to give it up, going to Kenny for a mid-range, and it is good as the clock went down. So Plymouth still trying to get ahead offensively as they're up 12-7.
Question: how valuable is a double team if the player that's guarding you is 2 foot shorter than you?
That's a very good question. I'm not sure if that's really the best help you can get there, but I guess any help is good help.
I mean, he can swipe the ball. That's about his best opportunity would be to steal it. But, like, in terms of actually guarding, like right now, it is Aditya on Turner.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to be a good advantage. But Turner was able to miss that somehow, and Vaughn was able to get the rebound. So not able to take advantage of that major size difference.
So part of that, I think, is he had to be careful not to get called for the charge. It's very difficult to keep track of such a small body. But
Ooh.
blocked by Turner on the other end.
Yeah, I thought that was an open lane there, but once again, the Turner just showing how much of size can really matter, especially in the paint. Seba trying to go for a quick drive, but instead slow things down, wait for everyone else to come up as hands over to Angun.
And this is where SAS could try to stretch it. Start extending the three. That's the one that Kiara Hughes brings, except she drives it in. And Turner blocks. That's his second in a row. And Belmare, fast break. Doesn't go for the slam dunk. Just lays it up and in for the easy bucket.
Yeah, and now they're up by 7, 14-7 so far. And it's going to be a little bit of a struggle here as, of course, Spectrum's called timeout. And so far into this game, Plymouth has been able to really show their offensive prowess, especially within the paint, as Turner has really shown that his size is a little bit too much for Tyrese.
Yeah, and I think really the answer for dealing with him is going to be getting him in some foul trouble. I mean, their backup center is the Phoenix, who is a definite downgrade. And even after that, if they choose to instead go with the Orca Samantha, I would still consider that downgrade. And that's what I'm talking about. Turner, first foul. Tyrese will go the line for 2.
Yeah, and that's going to be a great thing they have to do. They have to find a way to attack Turner, because Turner, even though he has improved over the years, he still isn't really one of the first people you would have to rely on the defensive glass, because he mainly relies on his size. But if you have someone that is just as big or even close to it, it becomes a little bit of a problem for him.
Yeah, I mean, for a 7'11" player, he plays good defense, but you know, if he was a average height center, you would say he's maybe average at best in terms of defense, especially compared to someone like DQ, who's literally built his game around defense. And Kenny slithering his way to the post for a layup.
Yeah, that's probably one of the more underrated moments of Kenny's game, is being able to slither his way as he drives. And Adidia going over to Tyrese Vaughn. Tyrese having to deal with the difficulties of the size, and then hands over to Kiara. Kiara going for a mid-range, and it's good. Very long 2 there. As it deficit down to 5.
But see that little spin move to get herself open for that jumper? That's exactly what I'm talking about, what she adds to this team. Santa Ana struggled for a while with getting a strong shooting guard that could help out Aditya from the perimeter.
Yeah, and right now it's been really a good addition, as gets some good defense, as we see here, as Belmare has to go for a tough shot, and it's no good, and Vaughn gets the rebound, and that's just how well Santa Ana has done so far defensively.
Yeah, Santa Ana definitely a more defensive team, as Kiara getting the quick dish from Aditya down low in the post. They're pulling back now, only down by 3.
Yeah, and then once again, it just really shows the quick transition from defense to offense, and that's something you have to see as one of the keys for Santa Ana to win this game. As Turner tries to lay it up, but it's no good. Again, very good defensive stops here, as Plymouth has started to cool down quite a bit.
Well, it helps when you have one of the best passers in the league, and Aditya managing the game. And Kiara was starting to feel it. That 3 would have been perfect to nail, but it just rolls out.
Yeah, and right now Plymouth had a chance to extend the lead once more, trying to see if they could find a way to break this defense. Kenny goes for 3, and it is good. And that's one way to get right back into it, as Kenny did to get that easy 3.
Yeah, Kenny had a long road to becoming a full-time starter. Saw it in Seattle, him finally coming into himself. And Plymouth, he has just continued to show why teams are beating themselves up, overlooking him. And Cruz getting the dish from Kenny and slamming it down.
Yeah, Cruz has been known to be in the dunk contest in previous years. So just seeing him being able to use his jumper really plays dividends here. And right now, Jin Sung trying to find a way to get into the paint. Instead goes for a mid-ranger, and it's good. So he's been a good offensive stop here. He's able to get 7 of the 15 points so far.
Yeah, but he's been really cold. 2 of 7. That three-pointer to open the game made it look like he was on fire, but then he has struggled since. And even that last shot was a turnaround spin jumper that was perhaps a little more difficult than it really needed to be.
Yeah, right now, once again, Plymouth has to try to find some kind of answer, but a shot clock violation, so Spectrum will get the ball here. Not a good turnover, but this goes, once again, goes into Santa Ana's defensive prowess, and now you need to see a quick change up for both sides as the second unit comes in.
Yeah, but Tyrese forced to stay on the floor because Turner is also staying out there. It's kind of going to have to match his minutes to whenever Turner's out.
Yeah, Ronan trying to lay it up, but it's good and one. Been able to draw the foul, and I believe that was on Tanya.
No,
Morone.
Morone.
Tori Morone. And that'll be his first person that was able to make the first free throw shot. So now it's up, down by 4, 21-17, as Plymouth extends the lead once more, back up to 6.
Yeah, keep an eye on Celis coming off the bench for the Taproots. Arguably could be a 6th for contender this season.
Yeah, and she was really one of the key pieces of Plymouth's championship last year, as we had a quick lay-in for the Spectrums. And Maroon pulling it back a little bit, trying to see if they can find an opening, but instead hands over to Yacina. Yacina got a screen. Looking to go for a three-pointer, and it rattles in and out, but Turner cleans it up. And I think with Turner being on the field against the second unit, it'll be quite difficult for Santa Ana to really try and find a way to to even try and take the lead with the struggles having to do with him in the paint.
Yeah, and that's definitely why they're keeping Tyrese out there. But with London on the floor, they could stretch the three-point land, as he is going to take a jumper from mid-range. It's no good.
Yeah, right now things have kind of slowed down quite a bit as Celis goes for a quick three, and it hits the side of the rim, and Tyrese is able to get the tough rebound. Turner was really fighting for it. And now London tries to get a quick screen, hands it over to the Viking. Viking getting guarded very well beyond the and right now Marone has to do something with it, going for a tough three, and it hits the side of the rim once more. So right now Plymouth really showing a good defensive there in the second unit, as we get a quick teardrop from Tori.
Yeah, and Tyrese was hoping to get a charge called, but that teardrop made it so that Marone could just come to a stop before even bumping into him. And, oh God, this is not a great matchup for the rookie up against Turner. Decides to dish it back out to the rookie, Aquino.
Aquino trying to look for some kind of answer. He goes for a mid-range jumper, and it rattles in.
That's his second shot so far for the rookie, doing quite well coming off the bench. And it keeps it within 6 at least. We'll see if they can get this last second. Ooh. Fouled there, but, they won't call it a shot. That was a reach-in call.
Yeah, that might have been a blessing in disguise. So it goes for a very tough inbound play. Celis goes for a tough shot in mid-range, and it's no good. So at the end of the first quarter, Plymouth is up by 6, 27-21 so far into this game.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye out how the second unit fares now as they move on into the second quarter. SAS, obviously I mentioned earlier, their bench I feel like is stronger than Plymouth's. So if they want to get back in this game, we'll have to see the bench step it up here.
Yeah, and they have an opportunity here as we don't see Turner on the court right now. So they could take advantage of that and really use that strong secondary unit to try to get back into this game.
Yeah, but for the other end, Celis is going to be a thorn in their side. And London really wanted to make that three, but he has not been hitting it from range tonight so far.
Yeah, speaking of Celis, looking to try and drive into the paint, but it's getting defended very well. Instead, have to go for a long two, and it rattles in and out, and we get a rebound there for Santa Ana. And right now, we do have a mid-ranger, but it's no good. So, a couple of cold streaks so far for both sides. And right now, Samantha trying to lay it up, and it's good. So I will say, even though that their secondary unit is not the strongest so far, you can't help but to say that the Plymouth Taproots have some good depth there, and when the bigs are concerned.
Yeah, at least in terms of their defensive abilities. Not so much on offense, especially compared to Turner. It's really they've relied on Celis to get them going on offense when the rest of the starters are off on the floor. And Marone, not so bad himself, but definitely not their first choice. But there he is, laying it up and getting his own miss for a second chance bucket.
And as we see, the lead has now extended very wide here, as Santa Ana has now found themselves down by 12. They need to find some kind of answer going on offense. And they do that right there. And look at a quick dunk from Aquino, the rookie.
Yeah, and it's been off of London. He's definitely trying to force the issue with his three-point game. And he's just not making shots right now, and that's why this lead has been built. And Celis just takes a jumper from inside the paint.
Yeah, really went by Aquino there as they extend the lead back up to 12, 35 to 23. We see Quinones trying to serve the field, trying to find something, but instead drives into the paint, hands it over to Viking. Viking with a tough shot there as two white jerseys were in his face. Here's Samantha heading over to Maroon, trying to find a way to get some kind of answer into the paint, but instead pulls it all the way back into the three-point line. Probably gets a quick screen. Has to do something here. Probably have to give it up. He does so. Goes over to Celis for three, and it hits the back of the rim. Not really a good position there for the Taproots.
Great defense, though, really. Oh, and they're going to say Gold lost the ball there. But I was going to say SAS, great defense there last possession against the Taproots. I mean, Marone had nowhere to go, even after multiple screens.
Yeah, but they got a little bit of a blessing here for the Roots as they are able to get the turnover on JC Gold, one of the newer additions for Santa Ana. As we get to see Samantha going for a mid-range, and it's no good, but we get a foul there on a loose ball. So it will still go to Santa Ana. As Aquino looking over to Viking. And right now it seems pretty stagnant so far, trying to come up with some kind of play. Viking trying to look for somebody there, and he does so, finds London, who goes for three, and it is able to rattle in this time. And really, you can take any chance you can get there, as they're now got the lead back within single digits, 35 to 26.
So he hits the harder shot with the defender on him, but he can't hit a three when he's wide open. Okay. Apparently he needs the pressure of the defender to actually make a shot. And on the other end, laying it up and in with a nice teardrop is the rookie Patron.
Yeah, Laurent really just showing his offensive prowess as a rookie. Is Krillinger able to get the steal. Krillinger laying it up, and it's in. So even though it seems on paper that Santa Ana has the better bench, it seems Plymouth has really stepped up here for the second unit.
That they have. Even though for SAS it's been the rookie Aquino, now heading to the line for two. Chance to add to his total for the night.
Yeah, and that seems to really be the answer here when it comes to secondary unit is Ben, as he goes for the first one, and it's good. And as you can see, a majority of their starting lineup is to come in, trying to find a way to get back into this game.
Yeah, down by potentially 11 here. Yes, good on both. SAS really does need to get this lead cut down to single digits before the half. I mean, you want to chip away at it. You don't necessarily need to get rid of it in a single quarter, but you don't want to let your morale dip, especially before the half with the coach. You want the coach to go into the half being positive.
Yeah, and Patron laying it up, and it's in. So that pretty much extends the lead once again back up to 13, 41-28. But of course, Adidia, long-time Spectrum, trying to see if he can find some sort of answer here, as he does try to find a drive, but it's good in there. one of his primary ways to get to the basket, really trying to get his team to climb back.
Yeah, because he uses his size well to slip between the defenders and get down low in the post, especially with his speed. You see a 3 attempt from Plymouth. They've hit some threes here tonight, and they've been very damaging to SAS. But Adia, back-to-back baskets now, getting them back in the game, down by 9 here.
Yeah, and that's one thing you have to really give credit to Santa Ana. They know how to pass the ball very, very well, as Pethren has the raw. Let's see if they have to find a way to chip away on defense. Really try to use that team defense to get back into this.
They need to start getting some turnovers. That's really been something they've lacked. It's another 3 attempt. No good.
Yep, and Sebastian able to get the rock. Sebastian pulling it back, handed over to Aditya. And right now, lots of passing along the perimeter. See quite a bit of movement here. Seba has to find a way to get into it. This is to Jin Sung. Jin Sung has a very tough battle against Samantha, and he gets blocked there.
Yeah, this was SAS's chance to get back in it before Turner gets on the floor. And Cruz, tries to get a little fancy with his layup, double clutching, but no good.
Yeah, a little bit of lady luck there if you're the Spectrums. You really need to find a way to stop them from extending this lead even more so than what they have to, as Jin Sung find a way to get right by his defender. And now Jin Sung has up to 9 points. Though still struggling so far field goal percentage-wise.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he's taking smart shots, I'm not that worried. It's those turnaround spin jumpers that grind my gears. I mean, if you're making them, all the power to you, but don't waste the opportunities.
Yeah, right now Krillinger has to try to go for a very tough shot against Aditya, and it goes in and out. Good defense there for Santa Ana team-wise.
And Aditya, fast break!
Ooh, and he dunks it. Rare dunk there by Aditya, and just like that, Spectrums have a tendency to run in the past 3 minutes.
To be fair, I was going to say, to be fair, he didn't have to worry about Jake Turner coming up from behind. That's about the only player that could have caught him.
Yeah, probably so. But even then, they're only down by 5, which is what you really need here before the end of the half. But we got a tough here for Samantha, but Aquino really doing well defensively. And Lee Jin Sung gets eliminated on his own. The fast break point is starting to really become an advantage for Santa Ana.
Yeah, and that might mean the Plymouth Taproots need to make a little bit of adjustment on how they're crashing the boards. Maybe start sending one player back to defend. And Cruz, wide open, but from inside the three-point line, so it only count for 2.
Yeah, but any way to stop the bleeding is good if you're the Plymouth. And right now, they need to find a way to find some sort of stop on defense. But since it's not a fast break opportunity, they have a chance to do it here. And right now, Aquino trying to find a way to drive, and he does get fouled. No and one opportunity there. Had a chance, but he will go on the line for 2.
Yeah, and I already see Jake Turner already sitting by the scorer's table, ready to check in. And obviously, Santa Ana has to respond with Tyrese also coming off the bench to the floor.
Yeah, that seems like those two are pretty much going to be glued to each other the entire game, as they are the tallest players on both of their respective teams. As Trevor handed over to Kenny. All right, now Kenny going for a quick mid-range, and it is good. Kenny has really been one of the main offensive pieces so far for Plymouth.
Yeah, and he just loves using Jake as a screen opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, those two have been together for pretty much ever since Jake came into the league, and we get to see Jake Turner with his second personal of the game. And Aquino goes back on the line for 2. Aquino's really taking advantage of trying to drive into the paint to get those free throw opportunities.
Yeah, this is his 3rd trip to the line, and you're definitely right about Jake and Kenny. I mean, Kenny ended up in Seattle back in 2014, the same year Jake was drafted. So they've spent 6 years together at this point, going into their 7th season now together on the same team. So they definitely have good chemistry between the two.
Yeah, it's really been the bread and butter between both of them as Natalie hands it over to DeMarcus. Kenny going for a step back three, and it rattles home. So now Plymouth is up by 6, 48-42. Right now, it just seems that Santa Ana might have to find a way to try and contain the perimeter a little bit, as Plymouth has had a huge advantage so far into this game.
Yeah, but what do you do when you keep getting forced to fight around a screen of Jake Turner? I mean, that gives plenty of time for an open look from almost any shooter, and Jin Sung unable to make his last-second shot work.
Yeah, and right now, Plymouth once again has a chance to extend the lead up to possibly 9 if they really get a 3 here. And as I say that, Kenny not able to get it this time, but Natalie cleans it up with a huge dunk. So now they're up by 8, 50-42 as we get to the final 2 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, Plymouth's offense is just so explosive, and if you play to their pace, you often find yourself quickly behind. And Aquino, a chance for an and one. I mean, he is keeping SAS alive here, the rookie.
Yeah, and they've been just relying on him driving like crazy. He's really showing his own so far into this game. Really putting Plymouth on notice. He makes the old school 3-point opportunity success. Now we see Yasina back onto the fray. Hands over to Kenny. Kenny being guarded pretty well there by Aquino. Then hands over to Belmar. Belmar go for a mid-range, and it hits the side of the rim, and Vaughn does get the rebound. So Santa has a chance to cover the deficit into just one possession with this shot here, as we're going to see another foul there, this time on Natalie.
I thought that would be on Jake for sure, and if that had been on Jake, that would have been his third, but Plymouth can breathe a sigh of relief as Turner will just have 2 here. I thought for sure that was going to be his third.
Yeah, and it seems to be a little bit of luck there as Kiera misses her first free throw shot. Let's see if she'll make the second one. She misses them both. So that's a huge advantage there for Plymouth, as Yasina is able to lay it up and in. And now they're up by 3 possessions, 52-45. Santa Ana down by 7.
Yeah, and if you saw that, it was actually on Aquino. He misread the play and took a step out to defend a player coming up to the three-point line, and that just left her wide open. But he makes it up quickly with a basket on the other end, and he's had 17 points here in the first half.
Really been one of the key offensive players for Santa Ana. You might have to see him probably play a little bit more minutes than he's used to if he keeps this up.
I mean, they're definitely going to go to the hot paw. He's only missed 1 shot so far, but it's really been his ability to get to the free throw line that has been so valuable. And Turner, with the buzzer sounding on the shot clock, makes it.
Yeah, that's going to be really hard to stop. Like I said, size has really been one of the key factors here for the Taproots. As Aquino hands over to Tyrese, and Tyrese still having to do a tough thing. This is a Kiera Hughes gets the easy lay-in. Good dish there by Tyrese.
Not only that, but that was just good play design. You saw Tyrese was outside the paint, and that pulled Jake Turner away from the post so that he could just dish it out to whoever drove to the basket. And Jake Turner was a little too far away to offer any kind of help defense, and that's how you eliminate him as a threat.
Yeah, and here comes Kenny going for a quick 3, but it hits the side of the rim, and that'll be the end of the first half. Plymouth still up by 5, 54-49.
Yeah, it was extremely close at one moment. Definitely Santa Ana is going to go into the second half definitely feeling okay. They did let them build up another lead, but they closed it down once again. And we'll look at the stats in just a minute as we get to see the halftime show wrap up. And like you said, Plymouth needs to find an answer themselves against Aquino. If they keep letting the rookie come out hot, they're going to possibly find themselves in a difficult situation as the game goes on. But looking at the stats now, Belmare, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 for 5 from the field. Trevor Cruz, 7 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 3 made for him. Jake Turner only 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks, 2 offensive rebounds of those 8. Tanya Feckel made that 3-pointer, and that's been most of her work except for the 4 assists and 3 rebounds. Kana Marcus getting it done on offense with 12 total points, 2 3-pointers made. Pathron, 4 points, 1 rebound. Perfect from the floor for the rookie. Samantha, 2 points, 3 rebounds. Celis, 6 points, 1 assist. Unable to make any of her 3 attempts so far tonight. Morone, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 for 3 from the floor. Spiro, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 steal, also made his 1 bucket. Martin, 2 points and an assist, 0 for 3 from 3-point land as well. And jumping on over to SAS, Tyrese, 1 for 3, has struggled against Turner but has 8 rebounds. Sebastian hasn't only taken 1 shot and missed it, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Jin Sung, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 for 11, including that opening 3-pointer to start the game. Aditya, 6 points, 3 for 4. And then the rookie, Aquino, 17 points, 5 for 6, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Kiara Hughes, 6 points, 3 for 5 with a 3-pointer. Missed her 2 free throws, though. That might come back to haunt them later. Carol has only had 2 rebounds in her limited minutes. London has been launching them from beyond the arc, but only made 1 so far. And Lagerstrom has 1 assist. Gold has a turnover and a rebound. And Leonard and Buckley, with only 2 minutes on the floor, didn't really have an opportunity to get any kind of stats on the board.
Yeah, right now Plymouth, starting off the game offensively, has a chance to extend this lead up to 5, as right now they need to find a way to, if you're saying find a way to contain the paint a little bit, and it doesn't seem to be the case as the ball took quite a bit to get back down, but Santa Ana's able to get the quick rebound, but they weren't able to get the position down there.
And that was such an easy shot on both ends that could have been made and just barely missed both times. And somehow Kenny with the teardrop, 14 points now for him.
Yeah, right now it just seems that he has really been on an offensive onslaught every minute he gets on the floor, as Aditya is able to go drive in on his own. Like, that's a battle that's always been very classic between Aditya and Kenny.
Well, we got to battle the 2 number 11s. Obviously, since Kenny went to Plymouth, he doesn't meet up as often against Aditya, but he's definitely there to easy open basket for the Toucan as he slams it down, bringing it within 3.
Yeah, and now Santa Ana is really knocking on the door for Plymouth. They haven't had a chance to get a lead since really the first minute of this game, and Feckel draws the foul against Vaughn, and that'll be his first personal, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he has not in general. Plymouth has not been to the line much here, not especially compared to Santa Ana. And really, that's what's kept Santa Ana in the game is those charity stripe trips. So they'll make the first.
That's going to be the big advantage here for Santa Ana, is trying to find a way to continue to play clean basketball on both ends of the floor. And they've done a really good job there, as we get Feckel going over for her second free throw, and she's able to make the second one. So Plymouth is now up by 5, 58-53. And right now you're going to continue to look to see if you can try and extend Turner to open up those lanes a little bit more. But of course, that means Tyrese has to play a little bit of a decoy here, as Kiera looking to try and drive into the paint, but it's really a tough go, but she's able to lead it down anyway against Trevor Cruz.
Yeah, and you saw again Tyrese kind of started backing out of the post, and Jake Turner was forced to pull back too. But that's also on Jake needing to understand that Tyrese is not a three-point threat, so he can rely on everyone else to kind of guard him, and he can just stick near the post. And that missed opportunity, Tyrese, let's see if he can capitalize it.
Yeah, he has a good size advantage too, as he's trying to find a way to get into the paint. But instead, this is back to Jin Sung. And Jin Sung really trying to find a way to go against a matchup against Feckel. Goes for a fadeaway shot, but it's no good. A little surprised that Tyrese didn't try to take advantage of the size difference there into the post. As Feckle goes for 3, but it's in and out. So Tyrese gets the board once again. Seba looking to go for a fast break for him, and he will do so there. Cutting the deficit down 2-1, 58-57. Santa Ana really picking up on offense here in the beginning of the second half.
Yeah, what Seba gives up and being only 6'8" and not as much of a power forward, he makes up for his speed, and you saw it there as he was able to dance his way around the defender. Meanwhile, Turner just forces it in.
Yeah, Turner once again using his size to his advantage. It's in the lead back up to 3. And right now, you may look for Santa Ana to try and get some answers on the perimeter, maybe. But of course, it depends on how they're able to draw some kind of offense, and they're able to do so there with Jin Sung once again going for a mid-ranger.
Yeah, I mean, the mid-range and the close range is working for Santa Ana right now, so I don't necessarily feel like they need to pull it out to the three-point range. Ooh, not a great foul there on Aditya.
Yeah, not really good, as Kenny, definitely one of the better free throw shooters for the Taproots, had a chance to go for 2 to extend it back up to 3, and he does make the first one. And right now we do see Jin Sung getting subbed out here. See if Kenny makes the second one. And it's in and out, so Santa Ana has a chance to tie it up.
Of course, you jinx him as soon as you say he's one of the best free throw shooters in the league.
Hey, I mean, I kind of jinxed Santa Ana too a little bit in that possession. So, hey, an eye for an eye, I guess?
Except one was a 1 point and the other one was a 2 point, so.
Hey, whatever works, as Kenny's able to try and get any sort of drive into it, but is guarded well against Seba, and Seba is able to give the defensive rebound. Right now, Seba trying to look to find the paint on his own, but instead settles in for the mid-range. It is good. We are tied up 61 apiece thanks to the play of Seba. So now Plymouth has to find some kind of answer to try and keep the lead on their side. All right, now Trevor hands over to DeMarcus. DeMarcus looking to pass over to Cruz. Cruz going for 3, and it hits the side of the rim, and Seba gets the rebound. And right now, Turner is nowhere to be seen so far in these last few possessions when it comes to the rebounding opportunities.
Yeah, we've seen Plymouth definitely try and utilize the three-point game, and that might be why SAS is staying away from it. They're seeing Plymouth struggle a little bit from beyond the arc, and their close-range game is working, whereas for Plymouth, I think they're going to need to make a switch up and let Turner a little bit more free on offense and just let him do his thing.
Yeah, and so far, we got a good size difference, but it's no good. But Turner gets the rebound, and he's able to clean things up very quickly.
Well, and that's also where Turner does thrive, is in those second chance opportunities. I mean, he can find a way to get the ball into one of his paws and, put it right back up in an instant. As we see the ball stripped by Cruz. Great steal against Chiara there, and a fast break for Kenny.
And Kenny's trying to go for a quick shot, but is defended well there by Santa Ana. Really avoided a disaster there. Good job by Seba. And JC Gold laying it up and tying it right back up.
Yeah, fast break equally quick the other way. Left Turner forced to defend against 2 players. And like you said, he's pretty good a defender, but 2-on-1, he's still going to have difficulties dealing with that.
Yeah, I think it's a tough task for any defender to really deal with, and especially those fast break opportunities, as we get to see a quick layup, and it is good there from Spyro. And now they're back up by 2, 65-63. Aditya got the screen from Seba, and it gets the good pick and pop play to tie it right back up.
Yeah, so close to being a three-pointer, though. If he only took less of a stride in, he might have given SAS their first lead since the first possession of the game.
Yeah, and right now, Plymouth is not really going to let that lead go away, as Kenny gets the quick 15-footer. And now Aditya hands it over to Kiera. Hughes just into the paint. Tyrese really going to go pound for pound with Turner, and it's no good. And so for Tanya, moving back a little bit into the paint, well, into the mid-range. Instead hands it over to Spyro. Lots of passing here for Plymouth. As DeMarcus ends up with the final shot. It's no good there, except against the rebound.
And SAS, an interesting team with Gold coming in off the bench. I mean, he was a starter last season in Seattle and a starter in Arizona before that, but now he's found himself demoted to the bench.
Yeah, it's really been a little bit of a struggle for JC trying to find a good piece. Hopefully they'll be able to get there for Santa Ana as Jake extend the lead once again up to 4. And so now they're in a situation where they're down by 2 possessions. Spectrum's going for their second timeout. Really the second timeout of the entire game, really. Both teams really reserving those timeouts.
Well, I haven't seen any glaring issues. I mean, Santa Ana obviously called their first timeout when they started to watch it slip. And they made some adjustments, and we've seen them come back into it. And I think they want to avoid letting something like that happen once again. And also might be a plan to try and bring in their second unit here. I mean, we're almost a little under 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter. This is around the time you'd expect to see a change to the second unit. Give your starters a few minutes rest before the fourth quarter when you bring them back out for that final push.
Yeah, that's going to be the big answer here. As we saw the second unit for both sides earlier in this game, Plymouth had taken really a big advantage there. So Santa Ana has to find a way to contain those guys when they have the chance to go for those they have those opportunities given to them.
Yeah, I want to see Santa Ana's bench step up. I was raving on them being the better of the two, but they've not necessarily shown that here tonight, except for Aquino basically carrying the entire weight of the bench on his own back.
Really, just from the whole team as a whole, Aquino's been one of the brighter spots here as Aditya. Pulling it back, handed over to Ronan London. London, who has struggled a little bit in this game. Looking to find some kind of answer offensively here as he gets a screen from Tyrese. Going for that pick and pop opportunity, but hits the side of the rim as Turner gets the rebound.
He's forced too many of his shots. That's the problem. He's Celis wide open. She has struggled a little bit from beyond the arc here tonight.
Yeah, both players really known for their perimeter shooting. Not doing so well so far in their respective situations, as Viking having to pass it up to Aditya once again. They had to find some kind of answer here as Aditya goes for a tough shot, and it's no good, but Tyrese able to find a way to get it back, and he draws the foul against Turner. That'll be his third personal of this game as Tyrese goes on the line for 2.
Yeah, at this point for the Spectrums, they're not really going to see they're not going to be able to get any of the Taproots players in foul trouble. Turner, I think, has the most now with 3, but with only 15 minutes left to go in this game, they're going to have they would have to really fight against Turner to get him to commit 3 more fouls. I mean, it's possible that he makes a mistake or two and they could find themselves in that kind of situation, but the fouls have been pretty evenly spread across the Taproots here tonight.
And that's a really good thing here as Plymouth able to extend the lead back up to 4, 71-67. Right now, Santa Ana really needs to find some kind of answer. They have been able to tie it up a couple of times in this quarter. It's just that they need to find a way to get that stretch to really push it. As Aditya tries to drive it, but it gets blocked there. A lot of white jerseys, but Tyrese once again, second chance opportunity, and Tyrese has really come into the clutch when it comes to the offensive rebounds.
Yeah, and we've seen the field goal percentage creep up for SAS and start to decline a little bit for Plymouth as they've cooled off a bit. And Celis driving it to the basket. That's a good points for her tonight. That's her 8th point, all coming from inside the paint, actually.
Yeah, it seems like both squads are really trying to rely on the paint a little bit more as Tyrese hands it over to Viking. And right now, good passing here for Santa Ana, but it doesn't really come up with points as that field goal is missed. So the Taproots have a chance to extend this lead once again. And right now, Tori hands it up to Celis, who goes for 3, and it's good. And that's not something you really want to see if you are the Spectrums, because now that Plymouth is starting to settle in for those 3s and they're going down, that's going to put you in a really big hole. If we get to see a quick 3 there for Santa Ana, and it's no good. And Celis laying it up and in, with Turner getting the quick assist. And now they have a chance to have it with into double digits if they are able to stop Santa Ana there, and they do so.
I'd call a timeout if I'm SAS. You gotta. London is forcing too many issues. That 3-pointer he attempted 2 possessions ago, he did not set up. He was still moving when he took that shot, but he was wide open. And that last one where he just forced it to the paint, that's just him trying to generate points for the team, and it's actually backfiring as we see a 2 there going to get called. I thought it was on the line, and it was in fact, but still, that's 11 points. I'm surprised Santa Ana has not decided to elect a timeout here.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to go ahead and go and try and take this final possession, even though it doesn't really seem like that this team is really in it so far as a D. You're trying to find a way to drive it in, goes into Viking, but it's no good. But Vaughn able to slam it down for that second chance opportunity. He has really been the main offensive sluggernaut, and we will end the quarter there as Plymouth was not able to convert on that half-court heave. And now the Roots are up by 9, though, 80-71.
Yeah, they've reduced the leads before. However, I feel like Plymouth right now, the momentum is starting to swing back in their favor. And if I'm Santa Ana, you got to get London to stop taking those shots. Even if he starts to make them, they're not high percentage, the ones he's taking.
Yeah, right now I'm going to be looking at Aquino to try to find some kind of answer here, as London is still on the floor. And Tyrese looking to try and drive into the paint against Turner, but he's having a really tough time. Instead, tries to hand over to London, but that was an unforced turnover, as London was not paying attention, so they're going to have to sub a couple of people in.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to go down on Tyrese as a unforced turnover, but London for 3 off the inbound. No, actually, no, it wasn't a turnover because the a Plymouth player must have tapped it. That's why it stayed with Santa Ana there.
Oh, well, that was a little bit of a surprise, but it still didn't really matter too much considering the shot clock violation, shot clock being less than 1 second. But Plymouth is really taking advantage of those second and third offensive opportunities, and now they are up by double digits, 82-71. Santa Ana has to find some kind of answer here, as London almost had it stripped right there.
I mean, boxing out would be a great place to start. I mean, that looked like a warm-up drill where they just kept bouncing the ball off the rim to the next player. They had no opposition on those rebounds, and this turnover from Santa Ana. Celis going to bring it the other way.
Yeah, and Celis going for that mid-range. It's no good, but Turner once again catches to clean it up, but Viking had no choice but to foul him there. So Turner will go on the line for 2, and we see more struggles here for Santa Ana as they're starting to make some very costly mistakes at the beginning of the fourth quarter. That's not something we want to see.
No, I mean, the pressure is definitely on Santa Ana right now to stem this bleeding and get the momentum back in their favor. The more this lead builds, the harder it's going to be, even though it's early in the fourth quarter. They're down by 13 at this point. Yeah,
they still have plenty of time to climb back into it as Viking lays it up, and that's one way to cut down this drought that Santa Ana has so far in these past few possessions. But of course, they have to find some kind of answer to stop them on defense, because they have not really found a good answer.
Yeah, speed is definitely in their favor. As long as they can control that speed, we've seen them do well in the fast break opportunity, but that it requires Plymouth to miss, and right now it just seems like nothing is missing. Even Killinger getting a three-pointer that he struggled with here. Now, a turnover from London, the spin move, the ball is stripped, and Turner fast break. He has a wide open basket. He's going to slam it down.
Yeah, once again, it just seems like London has really been the weakest link so far, and the crowd is erupting at this point. They need something to really quiet them down as London looking to survey the field and hands it over to Viking, who has to pass it back up over to Jin Sung. Jin Sung being pushed back into the three-point line, hands it over to Viking. Viking has it set up. He gets stripped that by Quillinger. Another forced turnover for the Roots, and Celis goes for three, and wow, this is just blown wide open here, as now Plymouth is up by 19, almost 20 points here.
Yeah, and you just see some small mistakes, one or two turnovers, and Plymouth refuses to fail to convert those opportunities, and you see how quickly, and Celis just fighting her way. SAS needs to call something here.
Yeah, I can't imagine them really going any longer. They have to call a timeout, and they will do that there, as they are now down by 21, 94 to 73. This game just got out of control so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, a minute and a half ago we were talking about a 13-point game. Now it's a 21-point game, and it's not over for Santa Ana, but it's not looking great right now. How quickly they've watched that lead balloon, and they just don't have any. Aquino, they don't even have him on the court right now. He was the main offensive spark for them.
Yeah, right now I'm being very surprised they're still keeping Ronan London into this game. He's been struggling so far. We see another possible turnover, but Santa Ana was able to get that right back as Jin Sung trying to find some kind of answer out of this disaster, and he does so there. Cut the deficit back down to 19.
And we'll have to keep an eye out. If they can't get this back to 10 or 12 points with 6 minutes to go, I'm going to say it's almost impossible to come back. But Turner just going to keep pulling down those offensive boards, and those second chance opportunities, they do so well to stop them once, and now they're forced to do it a second time.
Yeah, and Feckle was able to prance her way down into the paint to go for the easy lay-in, as right now Plymouth is kind of on cruise control at the moment.
I mean, right now they can just play smart defense and don't really force it on offense, and they should, in theory, have this game. It is Santa Ana that needs to step up here. Kiara, no good there.
Yeah, Kiara really has been having a bit of a cold streak for a good while now into this game, as Plymouth has a chance to really throw themselves into the game as they hand it over to Kenny. Kenny is really trying to get guarded there by Viking, but finds a way to get around him, and it's no good. But Turner gets the and one opportunity as Jensen draws his first personal against the Fox. And now Ronan London is able to get benched here for Aquino, as probably said that should have been done quite a while ago, as Cruz goes in for Yasina.
And now we'll have to see how the rookie handles the pressure. I mean, nothing like coming off the bench down by 24 and being told, okay, you're going to lead the offense now.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough ask as Viking trying to go against Turner, but ends up losing the ball there. Don't know what necessarily happened there as Trevor Cruz tries to put it in, but it's no good. And Turner, once again, second chance opportunity with a quick dunk.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I don't see how Santa Ana can really make a comeback here. They need a massive run to get back in this game, and I just don't see Plymouth letting them in. And this just shows how dangerous some of the top talented teams are in this league. You make a few mistakes and suddenly you find yourself down by 20 points.
I mean, as you can see, the scoring chart the past 2 minutes has just really been empty, and I can't even say that it's a few mistakes. It's just a whole bunch of mistakes here in the fourth quarter. It just seems like they hit a brick wall there for Santa Ana.
Yeah,
And right
and
now,
I was gonna say, to be fair, their second unit is quite young. I mean, Aquino showing up well tonight, the rookie, but you still got Viking as a rookie. London's a second-year player. I mean, the second unit is quite young for Santa Ana. They're going to be prone to hot and cold streaks.
yeah, and it's going to be one of those things we have to deal with a little bit of growing pains here for Santa Ana because this is a very retooled team here as Plymouth finally misses one here as Jin Sung goes for a good three there, and if we're able to cut the deficit down to 21, 101 to 80.
Oh, God, they cut the deficit down to 21. I mean,
hey, man, you got to get the commentary going as Trevor Cruz is able to get the quick teardrop very easy there as the Plymouth still has the lead up to 23. But yeah, you are right that this is a very young second unit. Growing pains are going to happen. And really trying to find a good mesh into it, going up against tough opponents like Plymouth. But you have to pretty much diminish those mistakes when you get to a team like this, as Turner's able to get that quick block.
Well, since the game is, going the way it is, obviously Turner's going to head to the line for another 2 opportunity. We could talk a little bit about the 2 teams and, in general with the FBA as a whole. Obviously, Plymouth Taproot's defending champion. They made some slight changes this offseason, but from what you're seeing tonight, do you see them as a favorite to repeat here?
For sure. I think that this is one of those teams, I know that River was a bit of a hit, and so is Tahiri retiring as well. Like, those 2 really had a key opponents in that championship run last year, but they were able to find a way to get Tanya Feckel, who is a champion in her own right, which she was playing with the Voodoo.
They've never won.
Oh yeah, they never won, but she was
finalist
in the finals with the Voodoo, as well as bringing in Natalie Bell-Mayer, who has had really thrived in her role as a starter. So I would say, yeah, I think that you would definitely put them in the favorites because they have done very well so far in the early goings of the season.
Right. I mean, obviously the teams that are keeping stride with them, BLV, who River went to, Dakota, Hawaii, and I mean Santa Ana's not far off of themselves on the top of their, right behind Hawaii in the top of their division. The Pacific Death Rim has returned, it seems, once more, and it's just some young mistakes here tonight that, going up against top of the league, the rough edges are showing a little bit more tonight than they have other games.
Yeah, and really going up against the championship squad on the road, the crowd really just roaring and spitting at your face. It's going to be very difficult to go up against, especially when Plymouth is just going stride for stride like this. As Aditya has another personal on his resume for this game.
So do you think SAS or Hawaii will come out on top in the Pacific Rim, or do you think one of the other 2, San Jose or Alaska, might make a push as the season goes on to take the division crown?
Right now, I think this is really more so a battle between Hawaii and Santa Ana. Both teams have really, Hawaii has always been very good these past few years, especially with the fact that they kept their core from the free agency, keeping everybody together for the most part, and has really been kind of been the class of the West as they made it out 2 years in a row as finalists. But so far, it's going to be interesting how Santa Ana is able to try and overcome them, because they have had a couple of struggles here against Hawaii. And right now, Aditya has no choice but to really have a shot clock violation, as he had to fall on it, and no one was really there to pick it up for him.
What, you don't practice shooting 3-pointers from the ground?
Yeah, I don't think it's really a legal shot to shoot a three from your butt,
Well, I
but
mean, you can as long as you don't move. It's a pivot. It's a pivot cheek.
yeah, it's possible. But I think it'll be quite difficult to do,
Talk about the
especially in the
core
SEA.
strength.
Yeah, right now Plymouth not able to get the in and out, and I would imagine they're going to bring in a majority of the second unit in the next timeout.
I mean, I think
As
it's all second unit at this point, really. Down by or up by 27. I mean, Taproots definitely came out on top on the bench side. 14 points, as you see there. More scored from the bench than the Spectrums.
yeah, the second unit for the Taproots really stepped up this game, and that's definitely a sign for good things to come if you're Roots. Being able to have performances like this is going to be very important as we go ahead to the final 2 minutes of this game. As Buckley gets fouled there by Hawkner, so he'll go to the line for two.
So we talked about the Pacific Rim Division. What do you think about the Plymouth Taproots? Do you think they will come out on top in the Northern Division? Or will the Bangor Tides slash resurging Albany Alphas, will one of those two maybe usurp the division slash reigning champs?
Well, honestly, I still think that the Roots are going to be heavily favored to win the division. Even though, yes, the Tides and the Alphas have played very, very well so far in the early going of the season. The Taproots are 5-1 so far within the division, and that's going to go really go hand in hand, especially if there's a chance when two of those teams tie. That's going to be a really big answer. Adidia tries to lay it up, and it's good there for Angun as he gets his 12 points. Really quiet night for him tonight.
Yeah, that was a great double clutch. You saw him move from the left paw to the right paw to lay it up away from the defender. And I'd have to agree, Bangor is going to be an interesting one given the announcement of Lance Wildfire's retirement. Whether or not that motivates the team to play better than we would normally expect of them, just for that last hurrah run to see if they can get him a second ring before he drops the curtain on his career.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting with Lance making that announcement, making this his farewell tour this year, and it could be fun if he's able to end it off with a ring. But of course, he's gonna have to go up against teams like Plymouth, who will have something to say otherwise on that matter. So right now, of course, you get to hear a good, happy crowd here for the Plymouth Taproots as Samantha has a chance to lay it up, and it is good. So right now, Plymouth has just really blown out of war to a lead where I'm not even going to try and.
You're not even trying. If you didn't notice, the last 3 minutes I have not tried to commentate much because.
Yeah, it's well over 30 points at this point. So.
Well, it's actually under 30 points, but they're not going to make a 27. Actually, no, wait, you're right. 30 some. My brain doesn't work.
It's all good in the hood, but yep, that's the end of the game. 114-87, going to the Taproots at the end of this game.
Yeah, and diving into the stats, Jake Turner definitely stepped up in the second half. 25 points, 21 rebounds, 3 blocks, 4 assists. Celis also picked it up 18 total points in 7 minutes. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. DeMarcus, 17 points, 3 assists. Cruz, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. Marone, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Tanya Feckel, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Didn't take a ton of shots, but made one from beyond the arc and shot well as a whole. And that really came down to the end, is just shooting efficiently. Belmare, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists. Pathron, 6 points, 1 rebound, 3 for 3. Krillinger, 6 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 steals. He finally made that 3-pointer in that second half after struggling in the first. Fotitis, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, a steal, and a block, getting one of everything on his stat line. Samantha, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 for 5. Bethany coming in, for 5 minutes with 2 points, 2 assists, and a steal. Jumping on over to SAS, Jin Sung Lee, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 7 for 16. Aquino, the rookie, tied for most points with only 18 minutes, but 19 total points coming off the bench. 6 for 8 with 7 for 7 from the free throw line. Aditya, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 for 12. Both threes missed tonight. Tyrese did get a double-double in the end, 10 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 offensive rebounds total. Kiara Hughes, 8 points, 1 assist, 4 for 9 from the field. Sebastian, 6 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 for 5 from the field. London had a bit of a struggle tonight, 1 for 6 from three-point land for 5 points total, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Gold, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 for 3. Lagerstrom, 2 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Buckley, 2 points, 1 rebound, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Leonard, 2 points, 1 rebound. Carroll, 4 rebounds, no other stat line there. And we can look at the team comparison as a whole. And, I mean, the game started off a little rough for Santa Ana, but they picked it up in the second and third quarter. It just wasn't enough, especially come time for the fourth quarter where Plymouth just absolutely ran away with it.
Yeah, and really it just goes again to those, like, really the major mistakes that happened, not even in the beginning of the fourth quarter, but around the end of the third quarter, really, is when they start falling off really heavily here. As you can see, all of the stats are advantage Plymouth in the fourth quarter, as you see from the final score there. And it's just trying to go into playing the full 4 quarters of basketball, because you can't really lose that luster there as you head into those crunching minutes.
Yeah, we saw the game tied up pretty late into the third quarter, actually, and then Plymouth just started to pull away, and then it snowballed very quickly. There was a 2-minute stretch where Santa Ana just did not make a single bucket, and even then, within like a 5-minute stretch, only 1 bucket was made, so it was just easy going for Plymouth to get it up. And honestly, looking at it, their field goal percentage was not that different, but look at the massive difference in total possessions. I mean, obviously some of that had to do with Santa Ana getting to the charity stripe a bit more, but Santa Ana, no steals and no blocks, whereas Plymouth had 7 steals and 5 blocks.
Yeah, and that's really the name of the game, and they really took it over defensively, especially with the costly a lot of those turnovers were unforced.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to put the blame a little bit on London here just a tad, because he really struggled really trying to take in those minutes. I'm really surprised that he stayed in as long as he did.
I mean, he's had his moments where I felt like they were trying to see if he would get going. He can be a spark plug coming off the bench, and tonight he just wasn't. And to be fair, for Santa Ana, and to defend London a little bit, Santa Ana just did not get enough boxing out against the Taproots. You look at that, 15 offensive rebounds total for the Taproots. That's almost triple what the Spectrums managed to put up. Had they managed to stop even half of those second chance opportunities, they would have had a game much earlier on.
Yeah, for sure. It's really going to be one of those things, because the size difference really played a huge role into this game. Like, Turner is very hard to contain for really anyone, especially if you don't have at least somewhat of around the same height, or at least have a partner that has a good amount of height to really try and have a true double team opportunity against him. But there, Santa Ana did have a good opportunity to really try and take over the game. It's just that Plymouth was able to find a way to stop them in their tracks when things got tight.
Yeah, like I said, they had no answer for Turner. They could have potentially attacked him a little bit more in the post and tried to get him in foul trouble. He only ended up with 3 for the night, so not that much of a pressure built on him. And I mean, that's definitely the way Santa Ana builds their team. They are a fast team, and the speed ended up not working out for them the first quarter, and then in the fourth quarter, it just fell apart so quickly that there was no opportunity to make a comeback, so the coach had to bench his starters. So, I mean, Do you go for the risk of winning, a 1% risk of winning, a chance of 1% of winning, but the risk of an injury because you're pushing your players for a game and we're not even, halfway to the season yet?
Yeah, I think that this one you just go accept the L and kind of move on into the next game. Which, speaking of moving on to the next game, it's going to be quite an interesting one here for Sports Den as we go ahead and head over to Albany as we get to see the Seattle Summit go up against the Albany Alphas. But this time we're going to be having Wes Carey lead the fray for that upcoming game while I do color. So we're going to be without Ryan Eastman today. The next game.
Was I even here today?
Huh?
Was I even here today?
I
I
mean,
checked out that fourth quarter, basically.
I mean, hey, it's good to really try and have a chance to like chill out and discuss some basketball casually as we got into the closing minutes of this game. But since you're gonna be off for a little bit, what are you gonna be planning on doing with that time off?
They're probably going to call me in just in case one of you starts making horrible mistakes.
Oh gosh, I
I
think we're
can't.
I think we are fine, and but it's going to be a pretty fun one there as both Albany and Seattle have had very intriguing streaks so far into the early going of the season. Albany really improving their squad as they are heading above 500 so far at this point, and meanwhile for Seattle, are in the same boat.
Yeah, Seattle taking a little bit of a step back and trying to readjust after blowing up part of their roster, getting rid of J.C. Gold, who we saw tonight, and Casper Kusick, and they've obviously are running a rookie and the Tasmanian Wayne Kirkpatrick, and they're still trying to mesh together as a team. So we could definitely see some sloppy play coming out them from on the next sports. Then, however, we talked about height advantage. They are the tallest on average starting lineup in the FBA, thanks to DQ and the rest of them. So it'll be very interesting to see how Albany deals with that in the next sports den.
Yeah, it's going to be seeing of whether or not size does matter in that game, but it's going to be a fun one. Meanwhile, it's been a really fun time here commentating on this game here in Sports End, but I think we're ready to close things off.
Yep, it's been a wonderful night. Thank you all for tuning in. I won't see you next time unless one of these bozos mess it up really bad. But I've been Ryan Eastman. Thanks for joining me once again, Marcus.
No, not a problem.
Have a good night, everyone. See you next time.